I have the start streaming going here. I am making sure that Twitch is operational. Twitch is operational.
Yes, so many different opinions on this one.
Doop doop
6 shows. It's gonna start a fight.
doop. What was your favorite solo leveling?
Mine?
It came mine. It came pretty close at first, but Freerin is too good, or Freerin. I have to wonder how to say that. You guys do it for me.
I say Freyrin, people say Freerin, what have you. Welcome everyone to Animesplaining. So, I realized something as I kind of have thought about our previous things. We've never really introduced, like, the concept of this show compared to, like, when we first had it as a podcast. But yeah, so the purpose of this show, this is an anime review show. The person over there, Joey, if you can see my finger somewhere there, is not an anime fan. Still isn't an anime fan after all this time, quite frankly. And
There's a couple I've liked, but mostly no.
and this show is here to slowly break him, or at least find the silver lining in, sometimes, especially now since we watched the Anime of the Year awards or we watched the Anime of the Year contenders, because the actual awards is in like 3 weeks. But
That'd be fun.
oh man, this is your best.
We're gonna have to go back to the '90s to find the best. But yeah, it is currently the best, unfortunately.
But
Isn't that how most people feel? Because every anime fan I still hear references Cowboy Bebop. They'll talk about Invincible or One Punch Man or what major one am I missing?
Ghost in the Shell, probably, because like directors keep talking about that.
Akira.
Now it always comes up as Ghost in the Shell. Dragon Ball Z, definitely.
Dragon
Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z is the marijuana.
I don't like it, but a lot of people do. And what's Demon Slayer?
Yeah.
Like I do hear people reference Demon Slayer.
And I mean, I know I'm conflating here, but it's like, film has been going on so long afterwards, but people still talk about The Godfather? Like, yeah, when something...
It is kind of like... Is Dragon Ball Z the Godfather of anime?
No, if anything, One Piece is the Godfather of anime.
Oh, God, yeah.
Just
it's gonna take me forever to watch that, too.
Never ending. But yeah,
Easy, Tiger. It's your Godfather blasphemy.
So this one, we worked in a little bit of a different way, because in normal circumstances, we normally watch a big chunk of episodes for each anime we do, where like we do it in like 12 to 13 episode stints. If a series is 26 episodes, for instance, we'll chop it in half. In this case, Marlon and Joey...
One of us did.
Yep, Marlon and Joey here had to watch 2 episodes of each of the Anime of the Year contenders, and I watched the full thing. I watched the full season 1. I did not watch any season 2s, so if there is a show where like the general consensus is that season 2 is so much better, then I'm not going to know about it. But I don't care, because the only one that refers to is solo leveling, and solo leveling is hot trash.
I disagree, you bastards. If we're talking about that one first, yes, it's very derivative.
Yes, we are talking about it.
After starting off with the Apothecary Diaries, no, solo leveling is way better. I started off with Apothecary Diaries, solo leveling is the better show. You can't even... It might be the worst compared to the other ones, but it's above Apothecary Diaries easily.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this in a format similar to an old format we did when we did Star Wars Visions, which is... we're each going to give our own, like, hey, this is our bottom, and slowly move up, but it's going to be my listing of when we're actually going to talk about the show. So, Marlon, your bottom was Apothecary Diaries?
Yeah, 100%. It's not just that the show is already housed down to the main character's demeanor, but the fact they set it in one of the most awful periods of time and kind of make light of the whole situation. Like, yeah, you just kind of kidnap people and turn them into your sex slaves. Just how we work over here in China in this period. And you just gotta roll with the punches. Like, no, I spent 2 episodes just focused on that aspect. She's kidnapped. Her father misses her. Why isn't that the plot? She's been here 3 months.
Yeah, I will get into that when we actually talk about the show, because I had the exact same thought, and it did not leave in watching like the 27 episode season. Um, and Joey, what was your bottom?
Solo Leveling,
Oh,
actually, was mine.
it was not
There's
Delicious
so
in
much
Dungeon,
worse.
so I
It's maybe it's because I ended with it, so like I was
Okay.
like, and I actually kind of like based on like for whatever reason, because you had told me how they were really campaigning for to get this award, I was expecting more.
Yeah.
And then
Me too.
and then you started like, oh, this tiny little ant just ripped a hole in this dude's face. I'm like,
Just
wait,
rough.
that thing just injured you? Like, and then the other two just turn into Wolverine and basically the X-Men while fighting these other giant ants, and
Where have I seen that before?
then it only gets worse.
yeah.
But
So Solo Leveling is also my bottom. This is the lowest score that I gave overall, which I gave it a 2 out of 7 on our 7-star scale.
Please.
Because
Okay.
it's I'm not a big fan of power fantasy anime. I know that some people really like them. But oh man, fuck this show. Fuck its like weird power fantasy. Fuck its like bland ass protagonists. For the people who say like, "Oh, well, at least the action's good." Where?
Oh, maybe it's because I started with Apothecary Diaries, but the action is what made me take notice of this show by comparison to Apothecary Diaries. So it was kind of like stellar. It was a huge hit for me, and it was very gory. And I felt like it was very much My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, even Kaiju number 8, which is on this list, and what's it, Attack on Titan. They're all the same shows, so I can't really give this one a different rating. It's the same thing. It didn't do anything different or that badly. It was like, okay, so you're the same stick.
Yeah, but
You're gonna pick the worst
in those
guy, and
other
that's our
ones
main
you
hero.
mentioned, like there's something that actually like connects you to it. And this one, it's just game mechanics that they tried to do. It's like, oh, you've played RPGs as well. Yeah, I'm probably the one who plays the most JRPGs here. I'm probably the audience for this, that they go like, oh, this is the person that we're aiming at. But oh man, it's incredibly like shallow of me to think about, but the main thing that I knew like I would not like this show was when the opening legitimately made me think that my sound was going out, because they do this starting thing with the drums, and also the opening fucking sucks.
the opening,
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the opening.
But
It's not good music.
and the worst part is the first 2 episodes are probably the most interesting that the show is.
That's unfortunate.
Because once
That
main
is-
character gets his like, I am the special powers and I can now see like the game system like I'm the most boring ass Neo around, it just becomes rote. It becomes like, oh,
Damn it.
I can beat you because I have this quest, and this quest has made me stronger. I'm now level 18.
So that's when you say that it's a power fantasy anime. That's basically so him in the temple that you see in episode 2 basically just becomes the whole show, where the guy that has no arm is like, hey, you understand this, let's just follow you. That's basically
Yeah,
I wouldn't even call that a power fantasy. Like, that's just every show.
He gets revived, and the quintessential thing of like, oh, now all these fantasy creatures are in the real world, is it turns out that like the world is being utilized within game mechanics. So he can see his class, he can see his level, he can like pull items out of the ether. He's basically a video game character that's living in real life at this point.
So he's free guy, kind of. Is then
nowhere in the
only
first
not
2
funny.
episodes. I cannot get that. I wouldn't have guessed that freaking power.
So it is
No
free
hint of
guy. It is free guy that's not funny.
Yes.
Okay.
And super edgy and boring. Like, you would think that this thing would like give this character a personality, but no. Like, I mean, I don't know if this is a problem with just the voice actor. I don't know if it's a problem with the writing. I don't know, but it's not good. It's
I mean, it's what does it start with? It starts with him like they're fighting. So we establish like, oh, there's these hunters and they hunt these monsters basically for basically to make money, like to better your spot in life, because these monsters are worth something and you can treasure up and fight other monsters. So he gets stabbed in the stomach in Magic Healing Girl, because he gets almost stabbed like through his stomach. Magic Healing Girl heals him after she's like, "Are you okay?" Well, no. So you better heal him. But so then she's telling him how you don't belong here, but then they go into this temple where all of these people just start getting massacred because the government told them to come in down here. I think that's the kind of what I got.
It's
and
supposed to be it's like because your magical ability and your ability to adapt to work in this system is based on your inherent magical class. So he's a class E, which is the lowest of them. And the what they enter is a class E dungeon, but it turns out that there's this weird, stupid trap at the end of it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, because then you like, oh, well, let's meet these other characters. Like, oh, I can't. I have a family. Cool, and then they cut you in half. Like, you're supposed to make me like emotionally connect me to this person, but you kill them right away. So instead of me feeling bad for the person, I'm like, you cut him in half. And I
felt bad for that guy.
You tried to make me care, but now I'm just. It makes it even funnier. Like it's like. I just so dumb. Like everything. Oh, you're bleeding. Oh, by the way, I don't have an arm. Okay. Stupid show. Like I will say this, Marlon. Like I mean, and you can give this show whatever score you want. I'm with Tony. I would rather watch Bastard than this show. I would rather watch the WrestleMania main event. If we're on a 7-star scale or a 7-number scale, I will put that like the 7 now refers to how many times I would rather watch the WrestleMania main event over this show. I would rather watch John Cena against Cody Rhodes 7 times rather than this show.
All right, I'm just going to give it to you guys on this one because I feel like I didn't watch enough of the show to really judge. Tony clearly has, and that kind of painted my view because it becomes something else apparently later. But I enjoyed the 2 episodes I saw because I thought the show was just going to be like different game rooms that this kid has to like think his way out of or something like Saw or Cube. But no, I guess he just gets powers later and it becomes something else.
So yeah, he gets powers in literally the next episode.
Okay. Cool. So it's Chainsaw Man.
Do any of the characters become interesting? Because yes,
the most interesting thing that happens by the end is he puts himself into like this like multi-class quest thing where he needs to fight these like hordes of like super high level enemies with this like one knight guy that is like super powerful. He does end up winning, and then it turns out that the multi-class that he was working towards was a necromancer. So I think that thing that they're doing is like, oh, this is actually like showing you the progression of being a bad guy, which is at least somewhat interesting. It's too bad it just takes so long to get going.
It's a problem with so many animes.
So now it's like going all the way to Knights of the Old Republic. Like you can choose your own character.
That's what it. These video game like RPG mechanic animes are a dime a dozen, and I wouldn't even consider solo leveling to even be a good one of those.
I guess I didn't see it as a video game mechanics thing. I couldn't possibly see it yet. I thought it was another occupation-based anime. Or here's a job, a weird thing, and now you're the worst at this job at the weird thing, and you're gonna be the best at this job at the weird thing. And they just went left. It's tired. We're doing video games now.
Yeah, Marlon, I actually urge you to watch like the next few episodes of this to just see like it's like, oh, it's this show. Fuck this show.
Yeah. Because that's kind of what happened to me with Attack on Titan, when I thought it'd be a show about like little humans and their resistance against like giants, and then the one human becomes a giant, and I just lose interest.
Yep. No, it's
Like, why did he do that?
it's actually about how fascism is pretty neat, actually.
It's like they missed what's cool about their own concepts and then just avoid it. They avoid anything cool about their concept. They like that. Let's not do that.
Yeah,
right?
Attack
Don't
on Titan
understand it.
would be so much better if it was just a zombie series, except the zombies are giants.
That's what I thought it was. I thought it was like some kind of Pacific Rim level resistance or Rain of Fire. I thought it was Rain of Fire, but the dragons are huge naked people. But the one guy gets turned into a dragon too, so it's not Rain of Fire anymore. You're just the enemy.
Okay, so sorry to you Solo Leveling fans out there, but I tried. I watched the whole thing. I was hoping it would get good. It never happened.
It's gonna win.
It is not going to win. I think the number one that I chose is going to win. It's between that and what is actually my number 5. So, Joey, what is your next one up? What is your number 5? You're not as bad as Solo Leveling, but bad.
So what did we have? Apothecary Diaries, Fire In. Oh, fuck. Dan to Dan. Fuck you.
Fuck you for that. No.
You, Dan to Dan. Stupid frickin' perv show.
That's my number
God,
one. But
it is. God damn. Like, now it's time for the aliens to perform intercourse on you. Fuck
yes,
you,
give
show.
me your banana. It's
Fuck
funny.
you.
Give me your banana.
Get that garbage away from me.
It's
So,
funny.
It's not
It's
funny.
actually legitimately
It's
funny.
just uncomfortable and weird and
It's uncomfortable
gross.
if you hate nudity.
It's
It's uncomfortable
all of
if you
those things.
Marlon, what was your number 5?
oh, dude, I wouldn't put Fur in that low. I would put, and this is nothing that's a show. I want to say Deliciously Dangerous, but it's got to be something I
Delicious
I
in
like less than
Dungeon.
Oh,
Delicious
that
in
one's there,
Dungeon.
too.
That is the other
That's
RPG
funny.
show,
But-
quite frankly.
Yeah, it's got to be Delicious in Dungeon because Apothecary Diaries was the worst one, and I enjoyed the other ones because that's just my personality. So it's Delicious in Dungeon next for me. Even though I enjoyed it, it's a great concept. It kind of became monster of the episode, and I saw the pattern. Like, here's a new monster, here's a new dish, here's a new monster, here's a new dish, and it would just be a cooking show for 12 episodes, which is good. It's unique. It's interesting. It's on this list, just not the greatest.
Yep. We will get to Delicious in Dungeon in a bit, but sorry, Marlon, my number 5 was Dan to Dan.
All right, fine.
So Dan to Dan,
I'm sorry, Marlon. I'm not like trying to knock your taste either. Like I just this show was
I know we have
like
different tastes.
this show was everything that I would imagine life would be like if you were like the janitor of a strip club. Like that's
Yeah, that's my dream job. Actually, is
if Dan to Dan had come out in 2001 or so, same time as Fooly Cooley did, I would probably like this show. If I was a teenager in high school, where it's a high school nerdy kid is able to get this hot lady just by the fact that they're being these weird sort of dipshits, then
and what his name is.
it's
And
troll.
simply because she's
Okaroon. It's
Okaroon.
Okaroon and Momo.
Yep.
no, but like he says, like my name's Ken Want. Like what does he say his name is?
Ken
like,
Takamura. And she was like,
Ken
nope, you can't say that
Takamura, yeah.
anymore.
And she's like, oh, I've needed you for my life. By the way,
That
my
would-
boyfriend dumped me.
So where Dan to Dan falls apart for me is probably in the fact that it's been overhyped.
Oh, well, there's that.
Like that there is that where you hear about it being like this fantastic thing and overall it's just kind of middling. Because overall, I mean, I ended up giving this a 3 out of 7. Just that general, I didn't feel robbed. But like, I think that there are shows even on this list that are better animated. There are shows where I connected more with the story and with the characters in this show, but I'm going to parse that with saying I think in this case it's more based on the character's age than it is on, the fact that the story just doesn't connect with me. It
Okay.
it seems a similar show to how there's a new My Hero Academia series out there called Vigilantes, where the
Right.
main difference between Deku and this current new character is that the new character's in college and just has a normal ass job. And that makes the show
Saved by the
so
Bell,
much
the
better.
Conquerors. I'm standing on the edge of tomorrow. The new My Hero Academia.
So like, just by making the characters older, I'm able to connect with them. I mean, one of my favorite shows that's even in this anime of the year list, which is Kaiju number 8, like, their main gimmick is that their lead character is like, what, 34, 38? I forget how old he is in the...
They kind of said 33 because
Yeah.
the limit's been raised to 33, so that's
Okay.
where he is.
But yeah, the problem is that this show does fall into Monster of the Week. It's always kind of almost like a lol soul random humor, and I liked when it was done in Fooly Cooly, but I think that's just because, like I said, Fooly Cooly hit me at the right time. Meanwhile, this is just like, oh, I've seen this before.
Yeah. You're no longer a demographic. You've outgrown it. You've outaged it, and now it's because I see it as the new Fooly Cooly, so I can understand the appeal, and that's why I can kind of take my brain out and watch it that way. I understand it's childish. And that's after watching Bastard, that's not you guys' thing, clearly. But I don't know. I feel like that's most of the appeal for me is just dumb dick and fart jokes.
I would say like this show is just this and Bastard are the same show, only without the camera angles.
Pretty much.
But the dialogue is incredibly similar. I mean, like, freaking goes down into the train room and finds the ghost like, I'll let you out if I tickle your pickle or whatever the fuck she says. Stupid goddamn
if you give me
show.
your banana. Yeah,
no, she doesn't say that. She says something like let me gobble your wiener or some fucking.
She did say let me gobble your wiener. That reminds me how much I like this show.
Goddamn. And then there's the 3 clone aliens that was like, now we don't have parts ourselves, but we're going to intercourse you. Like,
I think sex and shows is
gross goddamn show. Like, and then I mean, the second episode is they just go to her house and they're like my grandma is super strict, blah 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 blah. But then we need to figure out the spiritual realm we find ourselves in. Okay, like, but that first episode was just the only redeeming quality of this show is that the freaking theme song was stuck in my head and still is.
The best theme song on this entire list. I will hear no slander. And the theme song on this entire list. The headbanging is ferocious whenever that thing starts.
Second best, but it's up there.
Now I gotta hear what the first best is. Is it Kaiju number 8? Because
Kaiju number 8 is number 1.
It's Kaiju number 8. All right, I get that. They alternate for me.
I liked the "You Are a Flower" song from Apothecary. No, I didn't. it's middling.
Yeah, I let the credits play on all of these shows. Like, most of this is shit. You're not doing a good job.
If you want to know what happens through the rest of season 1, here is, the general conceit is that Okaroon gets his dick and balls stolen by a ghost, and that ghost turns out to have sold him for parts. So they are looking to get his dick and balls back.
Let me see it. I want to see it. No, they're not there. Why do you want to see it? And then they yell at each other and go through the stupid anime trope of like showing their animation as bland animated cartoon characters while yelling at each other, and it gets fucking stupider. I hate this show, and sadly, this is probably gonna win because this one, from where I stand, this is the one I hear about the most out of all of those ones. Is frickin' Dan to Dan because it's
because it's
Fucking
fun. It's just goofy fun. It's impossible to take it seriously. It won't let you take it seriously. And it's kind of amazing for it.
I want it to go away. I don't want to take it anyway. I want it gone.
Fine.
Joy,
No, it's not.
I think the upcoming thing is I think there's going to be like a theatrical release of like a next art thing. So you can
keep straight to an adult theater near you.
Keep theaters alive. But the other thing they do is they introduce two characters. They introduce Momo's like ex-boyfriend, who is like this golden retriever of a person, and just like, but also completely dumb as rocks, and also love interest for Okaroon, who's like this kind of like preppy cute girl character, and they're just kind of there.
Oh, they're doing this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're gonna feint at having them link up with somebody else, only to put them together again, like that fake out thing. Yeah,
Thank you, Dan Dedan. Thank you, Dan Dedan, for giving me the theme song. Everything else go to hell.
Joey's a fan of Creepy Nuts, is really what it comes down to.
A great name.
How does that song not make you run up the stairs? Not want to run upstairs, or like do it like. Like time to get up. Okay. Like that's why this show gets a 2 for me. The only reason.
Okay.
Like I didn't like it.
So Marlon, what was your number 4?
For me, that's way too low. Or maybe I'm way too nice. I don't know. My number 4. I'm not putting you that low. On this one, and it's not for any real fault of the show, but the animation on all these shows are so good that by the time I returned to Kaiju number 8 last week, I saw it already. That was the blandest one. Like Apothecary Diaries had amazing animation, and I don't even like that one. Most of the shows had amazing anime. Kaiju number 8 just flats bill, and I don't know what that's about.
What was your 5 then? If
Delicious and Dungeons, I think, or that's 6. I figured,
Yeah. So Joey, what was your number 4?
My number 4 was Apothecary Diaries.
We're 1 for 1 on our list because that was also my number 4.
Mm-hmm.
God, fuck this show for having 24 episodes. And I will say this, unfortunately, for a show that's general through line is Stockholm Syndrome. It did that to me.
Oh no. Oh no. Really?
Yes.
Ew. Is it does she fall for the Emperor or the Eunuch?
She falls for the eunuch guy who's not actually a eunuch. They get rid of that plot point. Like,
so they did take it full on, bro.
Like she like, still thinks
you can
he's
feel
a eunuch,
comfortable
but he's
around
not
me, but
actually
really,
sex makes Joey, and it's like one of my favorite things to see.
They make sure to say in like the 3rd episode, like, oh no, this guy can still fuck.
That puts Dan Dedan up above this one. This might have to switch places with Dan Dedan. That's uncomfortable.
Dan Dedan.
But yeah, in those first 2 episodes, like I was probably in the same place as Marlon, which is like, oh, the Emperor's like concubines are sick and they might die. It's like, okay, so like main character, fuck them. I'm a slave. Who cares? But they
walked out just not liking any of these characters.
Yeah,
the show tries to be. I think it tries to be like historical Handmaid's Tale. Like I feel like that's kind of where this is coming from.
Those K-dramas or like those Chinese dramas, they do have actual soap operas in those time periods that are on like all day doing this exact thing. And I do not understand it. It was a rough time period, and they just keep romanticizing the hell out of it.
I get. This I will say about this show, to its credit, like you do immediately feel empathy, and you connect with the main character. Like she's kidnapped from her home right away. Like, I mean, they set the stage right away. So like, as soon as her dad says like, oh, they're kidnapping more people around now. I'm like, oh, so I know what's going to happen here. So
face. Take it away.
For foreshadowing that one.
Yeah. Screen cap of what happens later in like 5 minutes.
But then, I mean, even in the beginning, it's kind of because she works in the brothel, and like that's where she's learned all of her tricks of the trade, so to speak, when it comes to like how she understands chemistry, and like, oh, like these medicines work. And unfortunately, because right in the first 2 episodes, there's a like something that happens to the young kids because
the makeup,
the emperor, like, because like, wouldn't you think that your kids started getting sick when you put this on them? Maybe change it up a little bit. No, but like none of these people are parents. They wouldn't understand. Like they like, oh, why would we do something to make our kid feel better or try to test everything before instead of just letting our kid just like cough out their lungs and die? But whatever.
No one knew it yet, I guess, except this one character.
Because they all want to believe it's a curse, or like they try to reason it out through the dialogue. The dialogue's not great. The animation is back to that same stupid trope about let's yell at each other at certain times, and the other times let's change the animation style so we get this like frumpy, like just very cartoony look when we're yelling at each other. And then you get the uncomfortable about like, yeah, so and that's what makes this worse. Eunuch guy, oh, I just have to seduce her. Like, you're a eunuch. Like, what the fuck's that gonna do?
But
like,
he's a pretty eunuch. That's the important part. This isn't Varys. This is
like we all can like look at him and gaze at him. Yay. While at the same time, like they just say, like, they'll kill you for anything trivial. So why not just stay the fuck away from him? But whatever. Fucking stupid show. Dumb.
Yeah.
Being kind of okay with being comfort women for some reason.
Yeah, like
you're romanticized being hookers.
Yeah, like I mean, this was not as uncomfortably over the top sexually as Dan to Dan or Bastard, but it's still in that same vein. Like I can still tell it's there to basically be like, oh, let me show you how you get ahead in life. Boom. Okay. Cool.
I prefer Bastard.
I understand, show. Thank you.
I prefer to be like upfront with it. I prefer to be upfront with it than something like Apothecary Diaries that tries to push it to the side and almost sanitize it and say it's okay. Like Apothecary Diaries very much is a sexy show with sexual things in it, and they try to like kind of PG-fy it, despite this being a very XXX rated show.
I wouldn't say this is PG-fied at all because they said there's nudity in the show. I just didn't get it.
They try to make it focus on the primary audience for this is women, I think, which kind of makes the themes of it a little bit like weirder. But they do go into in later episodes like main character lady knows that she's Mao. She knows that she's a slave. She plays the nobles kind of against each other, not in a way that is going to like end up with their deaths, but basically just makes it so that she can like be able to like move around the palace or go home in some cases. So that part of it is at least interesting. There's a part when they go into like who Mao's actual parents are, which was interesting. Like her father is like this kind of ambassador guy who has face blindness. He just sees people as like shogi pieces. And her mom is like this former courtesan who like caught syphilis. It goes places, I will say, and it's very long.
Depressing places. Yay.
That's matter, and they just kind of try to be light about it. It's weird.
Well,
it's just a weird tone.
This raises two questions. One, what's that style of genre that we call bastard? That like sexual style show that's not hentai, but it's ecchi. What is it?
It's called ecchi.
Ecchi. Would I be wrong in saying Dan to Dan in this show qualify?
You can make an argument. I would say not really, because in some cases I would not say that Apothecary Diaries is focused on like a male gaze audience. It wants ladies to watch this. It wants ladies to enjoy it. And overall, like it's it's another show much like Dan to Dan where it's like this isn't for me as someone who is like almost 40 white guy in America.
You wouldn't qualify Dan to Dan as that genre either?
I wouldn't say so. I would say it is more coming of age than it is ecchi. Like if you watch an ecchi show, it is generally very like it is every single episode is the Outlaw Star Hot Springs episode.
While something like Dan to Dan, while the monsters want sex things, that's not the premise of the show. They're not in sexual scenes. They're not making out. They're not like alluding to blowing each other off or anything. It's just these guys want this dude's penis. That's it.
Oh, see,
That's the plot.
I would say Dan to Dan, because I would say Dan to Dan and Apothecary Diaries are more over the top than Outlaw Star is. Now, are they Bastard? No, but Bastard, like again, I mean, sadly, watching these makes me critique the others less because Bastard is honest with itself compared to these two shows. So, like,
but it is.
The
Bastard is trying to do this on purpose. These guys are doing it by accident. That's the difference. It's very important.
But the other question was, what was the Cowboy Bebop inspired show, or the one that had the same writers?
That's Lazarus, which we'll probably do not next month, but the month after.
Oh, so that's a completely different show. I thought there was one
currently
of these
coming out. It's entirely possible that Lazarus will be on this list next year. I doubt it a little bit because so far across 5 episodes there has been one good one.
Dang it. See, I was looking for it. I'm like, maybe there'll be like one of these animes is supposed to be the Cowboy Bebop version, so I'll get like, I know what trope I'm getting, and I didn't get any of those from any of these episodes. Like, damn it.
I will say slightly, I am being very harsh with Lazarus because it is Shinichiro Watanabe who did Cowboy Bebop, and the actual like hand-to-hand fight choreography was apparently storyboarded by Chad What's-His-Face who did John Wick. So it has a lot going into it where I want it to be more like Audio Slave than Velvet Revolver, if we're talking about like
Which super band are we getting?
If we're talking about super bands that are better than the sums of their parts.
Or more Rage Against the Machine rather than Audio Slave.
Machine is the original, and you're not going to top that.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
You're not going to top Cowboy Bebop, but you can at least be decent. What?
So now on to the upper half. Joey, what was your number 3?
So what do we have left? We have Kaiju number 8, Fearin', and
Delicious in Dungeon.
Oh, Delicious. God, how's Delicious in Dungeon still this high? God, no.
Put it down there.
Stupid. Like, the one thing I'll give it credit for, it's somewhat of an original idea. Like, it sounds like a stupid, simple premise, but you then wonder why, like, I've never seen it before. Because we really haven't. Like, the problem is just, the whole thing is ludicrous. Like, we're fighting this dragon. I should be concentrating, but I'm so hungry. Where's my sister? Oh, she's getting eaten. Good thing this dragon takes 2 years to digest this, so I have time. By the way, so we're going to go save her. We're going to go through the dungeons to find these monsters. But good thing I'm going to take the time out of my day to, like, film this cooking show. So we can go over, like, the perfect recipes. Let me find... I'm here to join your party so I can find the perfect recipe for my book. Fuck you, show. More goddamn, and back into the stupid tropes. The one female lead character who thinks everything is gross and who gets persuaded because things taste good, but she goes into she's yelling at everybody like, you can't do this, and she throws tantrums, and it goes back into that same stupid anime style, which again, what watching all 6 of these shows just told me is that this genre is just still not for me. The ones I like the best are the ones that get away from it or make fun of it. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure makes fun of it. This is the ludicrous, and it makes it funny. And then Grave of the Fireflies in no way like shows any of this. They are all about being dramatic. So like everything else is just like I don't even know why I like Demon Slayer after watching these. Like
I agree with Joey here, but that is kind of my stance on anime too. The more shows like Cowboy Bebop or Trigun Samurai Champloo, Ghost in the Shell, freaking Vampire Hunter D, that's the anime I grew up on. Keep it straight, keep it like almost real, like American animation. I tolerate other anime when they have less of the good ones to watch. Like Cowboy Bebop isn't on. I guess I'll watch Tenchi Muyo. Dragon Ball Z isn't on. I guess I'll watch the other thing. Outlaw Star isn't on. I guess I'll watch, I don't know, I'll say Tenchi Muyo again. It's more like so what I can think of at the moment. My brain's squirting. But I generally like things that don't do the things Joey talks about. But you just kind of have to accept that it's part of the anime world in order to get to the good things. Like I love Chainsaw Man, but there are aspects it's like you got to do this thing. All right, I'll just get through it so I can get to the good parts of Chainsaw Man. And yeah, I guess it just doesn't enter my vision anymore. I'm used to it. Joey's pointing it out to me, but yeah, it's better off without that stuff.
And I think I'm painted by Tony, when we were growing up, you watched Pokemon. I didn't like it, and they do this in Pokemon. And then you watch Dragon Ball Z, and I didn't like that, and they do this in Dragon Ball Z. So that and I equate all anime with those two, and that's kind of where I'm like how you say you were painted from your lens when you were younger, and mine's probably still the same way. And that's why like there are some things like Marlon used to like Samurai Champloo I can appreciate because I appreciate what they're trying to do. Now, I think that's a whole nother trope in their genre, but at least it's a better one. So, like, if we want to go the depressing or like the cynical, like dystopia route, at least that's an easier story to tell and more entertaining. But it's still a trope.
Is like criticisms of the MCU where you'll have a totally serious scene and then someone throws a joke in there. That's my issue with animes like these a lot. Like you're getting along fine and then boom, giant tear or like what? Or some wildness like why did you do that? I was intrigued. I was here. You had me, and now here's the dumb joke. Like the end of the day, at least that's the show. That's the premise. It's something else when it's something that's supposed to be serious, and now you have that popping up. So I appreciate Samurai Champloo, Trigun. Keep it serious. Pick a tone. But yeah, you're right. That's too much.
Yeah. So Marlon, what was your number 3?
Great already. All right, so we're winding it down. What?
Oh, you came in a little muffled there.
I thought it's no shoot. I think my number 3 is Kaiju number 8 because my number 7 is Apothecary Diaries. Then we go to Delicious in Dungeon. Then yeah, Kaiju number 8 is definitely my solid number 3.
Okay. So what did you move into number 4? Because you said Kaiju number 8 previously was 4.
4 was 4, but now it's 3. I'm moving Dungeon to number 4 because Solo Leveling, as much as I enjoyed the 2 episodes I saw, I wasn't given enough. And I'm not gonna lie, what you said ruined it. You ruined it for me. Tell me what the show's about. So now that's at number 6, and the list's been reshuffled. So yeah.
Yeah. So Delicious in Dungeon was my number 3. I have a weird relationship with Studio Trigger, because I was dragged kicking and screaming to like Cyberpunk Edgerunners. And the main thing that Cyberpunk Edgerunners has going for it is that it is not written by Studio Trigger. And that's one of the best things that they have going for it. Studio Trigger, when they actually write something, go into weird directions. You just need to watch Kill la Kill to know that. Or even Gurren Lagann. But the for Delicious in Dungeon, I will say that when we did the WrestleMania review, we talked about the Joe Hendry Randy Orton match and how Joe Hendry is like not quite a main eventer because he cannot like his gimmick has a ceiling. And that is the issue with Delicious in Dungeon. If they did not need to do their little like cooking spiel in every episode, this show would be a lot better because the characters do kind of grow on you, in my opinion. There's a lot of talk about like what are the expectations that you have from your friends and like what does it mean to like internalize your feelings, and there's a lot of that stuff, and they also go into interesting places even with their little cooking gimmick. Like in episode 12 they get Laios's sister, and the only way that they can revive her is to literally like take her bones out of the dragon's stomach, and in the dragon's stomach is not only like her bones but also the bones of all of these creatures. So they just revive her going like, oh, this will be fine. And then there's this like big like evil wizard guy who controls the monsters in the dungeon, so he just gets the monster parts to awaken, and suddenly his sister has like the body of his sister and like the back legs of like a griffin. It's wild. um, and the design is really cool. In general, I like what the show was doing, but in absolutely every single case, the show just all momentum is brought to a halt the moment that they are not doing something interesting with their little cut the mushroom into slices, put them into the wok, and boil them, and blah 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 blah. And it only works when they do something interesting. There's literally a subplot near the end of this where their dwarf character gives his reason for like being so focused on like conservation and cooking. It's because him and his dwarven band were like starving to death in the dungeon, and they were just slowly killed off one by one until his dad like had an argument with another dwarf when it was just the three of them left. They went out a door, closed the door, and then his dad came back with a dent in his helmet saying like, hey, I found us something to eat, here, cook this. And he has not gotten over like what the taste of it was, so he's been going through the dungeon trying to figure out if this actually came from an animal and not a person.
It's stretched.
This show goes down to number 5. This is a step above. I would put Dan to Dan in that. You want to take a weird Life of Pi twist? No. Ew. Like, god damn.
Definitely number 4 for me because Kaiju number 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexual perversion, yes, is something in a cartoon, which like can like basically annoy me a little bit. But okay, let's make cannibalism a trope. Like, oh god, it freaking weird Life of Pi, childhood trauma, cannibalism.
Fine. Like if your anime is already crazy violent, where's the line? And that's
maybe the problem is I watched this show first, so maybe I was like, well, it's like, and the animation isn't bad. I'll give it that. The idea is original, but god, now I'd almost rather watch Solo Leveling than this show. That makes it so much worse.
The Delicious in Dungeon would be much better, I think, if it were half the episodes that it was. The full season is 28 episodes. It's a death march.
These first 4 we've talked about are all crap. All of them. Ranking them 1 through 4 is just trivial because like they all have the same score, and that score is crap.
Well, Apothecary Diaries I gave a 3. Delicious in Dungeon I gave a 4. Like and that's that gimmick has a ceiling thing that I talked about. But there's a second season coming out. Who knows what they'll do?
Yeah, Netflix gives out the money still.
smaller doses. Like the 2 episodes I saw were fine. I'm not sure I could watch nearly 30 episodes out of stuff. It's kind of insane.
It's a lot. I will say that. Like they need to just cut it down. Um, so Marlon, what was your penultimate one? What was your number two?
For two, best song, best animation. Uh, story, we know that, but it's the most interesting. It's the most entertaining. It's a very unique concept, and even though it's just dumb dick jokes, out of all the other shows on here, can you really name another show like it? You have to bring a Bastard to compare it to, but it's nothing like Bastard. There's not really anything to compare Dan to, especially if something like Solo Leveling, and it's just Attack on Titan. It's just Kaiju number 8. Most of these shows are just other shows, so the really unique ones like Dan really stick out.
And Joey, what was your number two? Do we have the exact same list?
No, because here's where I have
Okay.
Fire Run.
Yep. Kaiju number 8 is my number two. Because I think that it stays good. Marlon, you cut it down. I did not rewatch the first season of Kaiju number 8. I kind of know what it is, and I'd rather, like, if I'm giving absolutely everything else like their first impression, I'm going to base my my review on the first impression that I had. I originally gave this a 5 out of 7 when we did the review of it back when. But yeah, it's a good and solid shonen. I don't think that Kaiju number 8 is impressing anyone. I do not think that this is in any way going to win, because, I mean, can you think of anything like super interesting that Kaiju number 8 is doing? And you really can't. It's taking to use the delicious in dungeon, like, it's taking the ingredients and just like performing very well with them. It is making you a good steak dinner, similar to other steak dinners that you've had.
I've seen the show a million times. This format is different, and I enjoyed the unique twist. We're still talking about Kaiju number 8 here. Yeah. I enjoyed the twist that the worst person wasn't some dumb rookie kid, and all these veterans gonna get killed off, like in Solo Leveling. This time, the veteran was the worst one. This time, it was the older guy who gave up on his dreams, which is a thing that's very real and a lot of people in their 30s resonate with. So I like that unique twist on things. There's always the arrogance of youth and kids who have their whole future ahead of them. They're like, I'm gonna be the best at everything. I'm gonna be amazing. My future is bright. I'm gonna be awesome. Everyone is full of arrogance. And here's this guy like, no, your 30s are coming. Here's life. And I kind of enjoy seeing him like get the fire reignited and find his vigor again. That's unique. I haven't seen that in other shows before, and you're not going to see it in Solo Leveling clearly. So
I was saying the redemption arc in this one, this is the only one with the real redemption arc. The other ones don't have it, because like he's the failed person that's just kind of resorted to basically doing crime scene cleanup, right? Like just cleaning up after the downed kaiju, from wishing he was there but like having the excuses not to. Then comes along this kid who just says like, hey, they changed the rules. If you want to be all talk still, or if you actually want to make this difference, here you go. So then he gets redeemed along the way, because then he saves this kid by turning into the only thing I forgot about this show is that when he's infected by the kaiju, they do the alien Romulus, let's show how the sausage gets made. So we got to show the full on like clip of this thing just squirming into your mouth. I'm like, okay, yep, we gotta show the full on mouth rape, like the face hugger scene. But the rest of it isn't. Yeah, like for what it is, it's bad. They shout in this one, but the animation, like, because they do the shouting at each other thing, that gets annoying. But there was the one scene where it does work, is the one where he goes like, because the kid asks him when he turns into this kaiju, like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I'm gonna punch this thing as hard as I can. That makes sense, because you're in a stressful environment and you're trying to use up all the energy you have. The other problem I have with this show is still the other same as it's that the animation style is kind of that Princess Mononoke kind of unsettling animation, like the kaiju, like, or Jujutsu Kaisen does it, where the monsters just like, instead of looking scary, they make you look that like killer clowns from outer space, just weird and just not make me scared of them. It makes me want to punch them. Like that's, but we've had that conversation before.
Yeah, we obviously talked about Kaiju number 8 already, so a lot of what we talked about was in that review. But yeah, overall, I'm intrigued by what they do with season 2. I find it kind of funny that I am an elder millennial, and my top 2 anime for this one are kind of have that as a subtext of you are an elder millennial.
The people are older.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever relates to me was always going to win.
Yep. Best opening song, like Marlon said, not best closing song. The weird Maroon 5 song.
Yeah. It doesn't fit the vibe of the show.
Somebody. Yeah, that was weird.
Okay, so number 1, Joey, so you gave it to Kaiju number 8, correct? Yep. And Marlon, we're together with Freyrin as number 1? Or Freyrin? Oh.
The animation.
Yeah.
What?
You were just coming in really, like when you start talking, just so you know, you're like, we can see you talking, but your actual sound doesn't come through for a little bit, because I think your noise canceling is kicking in.
See the green light now. Okay, let's do it. All right, I'll try. Yeah, Freyrin has the best animation of these. It has the most unique story. Like, how many stories start at the end? That is a great idea. I love the idea of the entire show just being the epilogue. The adventure has happened. We'll flash back to it. Now it's about dealing with the events after. That's really cool. And it reminds me of stories like, say, The Dark Knight Returns, where we finally get to see our hero old and his cast of characters dying. And it makes me want a similar version of Superman, where, like, hey, here's a character that lives forever. What's going to happen to people around him? What happens when Perry White dies, when Lois dies, when Jimmy dies? This is such a cool concept. Like, I'm surprised Lord of the Rings hasn't touched on it or made like a separate book about it. I like the idea of watching these guys start off young and grow old, and then we learn about their adventures backwards. And again, that's before touching on that sweet, sweet, sweet animation. This show is number 1 all the way.
Yeah, Freyrin, I have a similar vibe. It reminds me of like an all-star Superman, where generally this like feels good even when like things get tense. There's like this kind of general warmness that this show has, where it's able to surpass its own boredom. I will say that. Like, this is a slow-moving show. This is a show that very much wants you to be at the same pace as the main character, who is an elf who lives for a millennia, compared to, like, their human companions and things like that. But the best part about it is that this show does not rest on its laurels. It does not rest with just being like, oh, we're just going to be a cozy, pastoral thing. In episode, like, 8 to 12, this has some of the best action that I've seen this year in anime in general. It's incredible, and the tension is there, and it does very well, and then it gives you another 12 episodes, and unfortunately, this show was on the cusp of getting a 7 out of 7 from me, and then their second arc happens where they just have too many characters too quickly, and it kind of falls apart. Like, I like the general idea. They get into this clone dungeon and they need to fight clones of themselves, but overall there's just too much going on that second one. But the first 12 episodes of this, like, top notch.
Because I gotta see for myself, because I'm actually intrigued by this without the action. That's what shows like this and Delicious in Dungeons do. When your writing is good, I don't need the action to keep watching. Like something like, say, Solo Leveling that only kept my attention with the action. It's the exact opposite. This here, I didn't know action was coming, but thanks for that spoiler. That's going to be great. That's something to look forward to. It doesn't need the action at all. This show doesn't need it.
Well, that's like maybe watching 2 of this one is unfair. So maybe I have to go on. But, oh man, those first 2 are long.
See,
They drag.
See, I kind of disagree. I think the first 2 episodes of this are like they give you a good vertical slice of what this show is. Like I think the first episode is like right up there with some of my like perfect first episodes. Like it's up there with the Westworld first episode. Too bad the rest of the series went downhill. um but
Hey, season 1 stays pretty much on par with the first episode. But
I think what they do is just by being subtle, and you kind of know that something is going to happen where like we as audience know that's like, oh, Freeren's going to come back and every single one of these companions is going to be fucking dead. Because she just doesn't perceive time in the same way. Because I've watched Doctor Who.
Well,
I mean, Doctor Who is this? This is the same concept. All right, fair.
But that's all the first episode is just like, hey, we've like got this statue built to us. We did this great job. Yay, and everyone's celebrating. And then we're just moving at this snail's pace. And like, oh, hi, one small guy that was in the war party. Yep, you're 50 years older. Let's reminisce. And then I barely remember. I'd watched the second episode 3 times.
Yeah, she talks to the priest guy, and she takes in his understudy, and she's kind of creating a new hero party out of it.
What was the subtitle of this show? Because there was a subtitle.
Beyond Journey's End.
Yep. So let's keep going beyond boredom.
You're giving the energy of the kind of person who will walk out of the movie theater the moment the last action scene is done, not even let the epilogue happen. Like, this is the good part. Let the epilogue happen.
Wait, are you claiming that Lord of the Rings, the best part is when everybody is like celebrating with Frodo and Sam, and then the movie lasts another hour?
To be a bastard, but I wouldn't say it's the best part though. I guess it's hyperbole on my part. But the movie can't just end the moment the Eagles pick them up. Like, we need more. We need more than that. And I like that this show kind of takes place after all of that. Like, if Lord of the Rings, we got to see Frodo's adventures after he dropped off the ring. That's pretty much what the show is.
Frodo doesn't go on another adventure. They go back to Hobbitown, or about whatever the hell their town is they're from. They go back to the Shire, and they like live their life. Frodo feels like his life no longer has meaning, and then he goes on the ship and goes basically into the afterlife. Like, where I will agree with you, like where Lord of the Rings could have gotten interesting is where do you go after they beat Sauron the first time but don't completely wipe him out. So like this would be like if after the ring gets lost, and that like thousands of years between the ring being lost and Sauron coming back, like what would you have done in the meantime after you beat him the first time? That's what this would be like, because there's still like some underlying tension there. There's still an antagonist because evil's not completely eradicated. Whereas like if we came after Lord of the Rings, evil is gone. So like you don't have anything to really rebel against or fight against or.
Yeah, there's some
example. I think it's.
Go ahead,
I think it's more The Graduate. I think it's more like The Graduate, where they're on the bus, looking at each other, not sure what to do, and then the movie ends. This is like what happens after that scene. Like, what if that just kept going? We had to see their lives and their responses. This is that show to me, and I find that so unique and refreshing. I don't know.
Well, hot take: The Graduate is to me the most overrated movie of all time. I hate that movie.
Marlon, are you fine if I spoil some like major plot points in that first 12 episodes here? Okay. So this whole show is very episodic. Like, generally they'll have an ongoing arc, but overall they're traveling between different towns, so they'll end up at different places. Obviously, I liked the first 2 episodes. I thought they were very good, but it's like, okay, so what do you have to show me, show? And I think it's the 4th or 5th episode, they go to this one town where it's like, oh, we had this one thing that we did in the original party where we were able to banish the big, like, not the Demon King that was their overall like villain, but we banished this one super powerful wizard for 50 years, and he's encased in stone, but that's about to end. And I have made sure to time it that I'm going to be in this town at this time, and we'll be there to kind of take him out. And she uses it as a way to test the magical ability of like her understudy, because she goes and builds this guy up. It's like, oh, he's like, he created like the basis of offensive magic as we know it. Like, it's all of this other stuff. He's more powerful than you can ever like possibly like comprehend. And then when he actually comes out, it's like she just has a conversation with him that's like, oh yeah, your magic which was the most powerful thing at the time that we banished you, has, in that 50 years, they've studied it, they've looked at it, and they've created like this whole like discipline of defensive magic to basically make sure that you're not really anything anymore. And like gives this guy an existential crisis before she defeats him. And it's like, okay, that's pretty good. And then in the big like actiony part with the end of the first part, the whole thing that they talk about is like, oh, the original party defeated the Demon King. And they get to a town where it's like, oh, there's this remnant of demons that actually want to like make nice. And Frieren is like, no, these people are demons and they cannot change their like, they cannot change what they are. They are always going to be liars. And then they're liars. and whereas like part of me would be very angry about doing that. It's like, oh, so there's no hope for, you know, someone to go against like their very nature. I watched it with a lens of like, hey, we have Nazis coming back. So,
that's the only way to treat it and have it work.
yeah.
Because otherwise that's a missed opportunity.
And that's very much how they kind of portray it, because they like are making all of these like big political like platitudes of like, oh, how great life is going to be if they're just accepted in again, and like, oh, doesn't it mean that you are better than us if you don't kill us? And like, just like, no.
So fascism, great, is the opposite of Attack on Titan.
But yeah, those first 12 episodes, I cannot speak any more highly of. The second half, good action, but overall, like, just you put too many ingredients in the soup.
Boring.
It's really freaking fascinating. Because you don't like character work.
Boring.
The conflicts are inside. It's more interesting that way.
And also top marks to whoever voices Frieren. Like, good job of
That was bland and boring. There's no emotion.
That's the thing. It's
None.
not. So it's very much similar to if you ever watch Leonard Nimoy's portrayal of Spock, where Spock, the worst way to portray that character is like, oh, he's completely emotionless. No. He's always fighting, like, emotion, and that is what Leonard Nimoy specifically portrayed very well. And that's what this voice actress is doing incredibly well.
I think you're giving points where they're not.
She can turn it on. So, like, you probably don't see it in those first 2 episodes, but it gets there. Oh, although you see it in the first episode when she cries. Like,
I was probably asleep. Again, trying to finish watching that stupid show.
And Solo Leveling was the one you didn't like? Like, I'm trying to gauge your taste here.
I respect this. I respect Frieren for what it was trying to do or what's it trying to, like, say. But, God, just get me there. Like, I'm not supposed to feel the journey with you for 20 days. Like,
I also do
Where do
say
you think they're going?
I like that
Where do you
joke.
want them to
I
go?
do like the joke where like she gets like two human companions who are like, "Oh yeah, we need to go here and then we'll move on to this." It's like, "Oh, but there's this festival that they hold every 3 years, and yeah, they just held it, but I want to be around for this one." It's like, no, we can't wait that long. That this sort of thing. Also, welcome back, internet. I had to stop streaming for a second and come on back as we wind down here.
Yeah, because you badmouth Field of Dreams and the afterlife smote you in this internet connection.
Yeah, Quantum specifically is a solo leveling fan. It nuked my nuked the whole thing from orbit. But,
Enough.
but Marlon,
But
what do you think
yeah.
is going to be winning this year? Because I do think that it's pretty much down to Freerin and Dandadan, and I don't know if Dandadan has the legs. Like in a just world, I think Freerin wins, but I think Dandadan might win.
Freerin or even Delicious in Dungeon, like those two very unique concepts. I love them. It's going to be Dandadan. I want to say Kaiju number 8, but there's that Netflix aspect is a lot. Having access to a show on Netflix that puts it all in your favor. So no, Kaiju number 8 doesn't stand a chance because of that.
Well, I watched Dandadan on Netflix.
Win. It has that Netflix viewership.
Oh.
So Kaiju number 8 doesn't have that to back it up, and that's really unfortunate.
Neither does like, so how many shows that have won Anime of the Year in the past have like a heavy following?
Jujutsu Kaisen literally won 2 years.
It's a popularity contest.
They won in 2021 and won in 2023.
I would say Dandadan would win based on that then, because Dandadan is the show out of all of these I've definitely heard the most traction on from other people.
Instagram feed looks like who's cosplaying who? What show's getting cosplayed the most? And it's probably more shows like Dandadan or even Solo Leveling. I at least recognize the One Priest from like memes and screenshots. So I recognize those two shows. But if you're not like in the public eye, I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know how much
Did Demon Slayer win Anime of the Year?
It did.
Or any shows that we have watched in the past?
I think it won in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Is there? How much Hot Topic merch is there? That's the one that's going to win.
Yeah, keep in mind the Crunchyroll Awards are almost entirely based in voting.
Fair.
There you go. It's TRL. It's TRL again.
Is that why I can watch? I can.
It's not going to be on the show.
Because I saw I could watch for free all the ones. Because I could watch because it's anime. So watch all these shows for free in anime.
Yeah, so you can watch Freerin, you bastard.
Get to know
see that
anime.
the show's good.
Watch Freerin. I'd rather watch the.
See what you're talking about.
Okay, so Marlon, I'm giving you a chance on this one because, so for the next month, because unfortunately Lazarus, like I said, is week by week, and it's not going to be at the end of its season before the end of June, so we need to push that back. So we need to do something in the meantime. I want a break. I want something that is not like more than like 12 episodes. So the choices that I gave were Devilman Crybaby, Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. Devilman Crybaby also won Anime of the Year in 2019. In Kabaneri of the Iron Fortress. The Gundam and Kabaneri I chose entirely because I have not seen them, and I've heard good things. But I have seen Devilman Crybaby. So I'm giving you a chance, Marlon, if you want to potentially do something else. Feel free to speak up, because Devilman Crybaby is a bad time.
Added that to my Netflix queue. So thanks for that.
Why do you call it Devilman Crybaby?
Because it's called Devilman Crybaby.
I thought it's Devil May Cry.
No,
like
it's
the game.
Devilman Crybaby. Devil May Cry is a different show based on a video game.
Oh. I thought that's what we were. That's what I thought you were saying you wanted to pick earlier today. Not Devilman Crybaby. I thought that was just a typo.
We got that. We got Blue White Samurai. We got Onimusha. Netflix has a lot we're gonna work with.
I know, and now it thinks all I want to watch is anime because I've watched all of these shows because all of these were available on Netflix. It's like, oh, you want to know what's new also in your anime genre? I was like, no.
Do you want to watch Ubo-Blot? What's Ubo-Blot? I don't know. New Gundam is still good, by the way. Gundam Guix.
It's almost like that. I give away our age. What the fuck is this?
Dum. Damn it! Still stuck in my head.
But Marlon, did you have a decision based on those three, or did you want to do something else? Did you want to actually do Devil May Cry and only give me 8 episodes to watch that I'll hate?
Just because it will force you to watch something else, and you've already seen Devil May Cry, and I like making sure we all watch new things. But I also really want to watch Devil May Cry. I mean, oh man, fucking Joey ruined it for me. Devilman.
Gundam Requiem for Vengeance. Going back to Gundam, baby. 6 episodes. Tight.
Yay.
All right.
Easy. Until you tell me they're each 2 hours long.
I don't know how. Let's actually take a look. Let's get on, since I have Netflix.
Oh God, they might be. Oh,
I doubt that they're longer because this is a CG anime, so it's one of those things where it's more than likely
it's expensive. It's yes.
Create worthy gods.
Smooth. I don't like it. It reminds me of like 90s Spider-Man when he's like swinging through the city. Like, why is this CG?
Actually, I'm glad we're doing this today because the Timberwolves suck. Stupid basketball.
24 minutes for 6 episodes. So, yeah, this gonna be easy and breezy.
Just because of the Castlevania experience. Like 6 episodes, I don't count that as a season. That was not a season, so I'm kind of worried to save
Castlevania. I watched the first 2 episodes that they're like 10 minutes long. I was like, oh, that was over quickly.
You cannot count.
You watched 2 of the 3 episodes of the first season. But yeah, so I was one of the original ones that I was going to choose was I was going to make it like boxing, like give you a choice between 2 boxing ones with Hajime no Ippo or Megalobox, because Megalobox is probably something that we'll need to go to because the entire thing was designed as a throwback. It is a modern anime that is boxing based. It's science fiction, but they did all hand animations in a 90s style when this was done in like 2019. So it's pretty.
I saw there was a basketball one, and I'm watching the NBA playoffs.
It's like, slam dunk.
No, it just said basketball. It's on Netflix. It was like,
okay.
It said basketball. I'm like, okay.
I mean, we can watch Haikyuu. It's volleyball.
Isn't that one supposed to also be one of your Eki?
No.
Icky Eki?
No, you're thinking of Keijo.
What's Keijo?
Keijo is the one. I say this in like every episode. Keijo is the one where the primary sport is ladies in a pool trying to knock each other off a platform with their boobs and butts.
I just give a man a premise. That's it. That's a unique premise. It's all I need.
Put it this way. I don't rule it out of becoming a real life thing. We just had real American freestyle wrestling that got announced that it's starting. So how long before Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff create that?
Okay, so next we will watch Way of the House Husband. It's like 10 episodes each, 17 minutes.
Wait. Are we actually watching a
No,
show
we're doing
called
Gundam.
Way of the
We're doing Gundam
House?
Requiem
God
for
damn it!
Vengeance.
That you're following my life. I'm like, oh.
Do you want to
something
watch
that'll
Way of the
start-
House Husband? It is very short.
That's me. What's that?
Yeah, I was like, what do I do all day?
Because
I'm here alone. Ashley's in Boise till Thursday. I have the kids by myself. What do you think I'm doing?
Way
I'm
of the
Mr.
House
Mom.
Husband is
So I
about a
haven't
former
shaved.
Yakuza who is now just a
You'll have the
stay-at-home
place to
dad,
yourself.
and it's a comedy. You will hate it. You'll probably like the premise because it's just watching your life, but you will hate it because it's an anime comedy.
No. See, everything has to go down the same stupid used trope.
Well, how about this? This is what we'll do, Joey. June?
I don't want to watch two. So let's
No, in June, we'll watch Way of the House Husband. Or no, in June we'll watch Gundam.
House husband. At least one of us can end up watching that
If you
show.
watch a single episode of Way of the House Husband and you're like, oh man, this shit has legs, we can do a bonus episode where we watch Way of the House Husband because it's literally an hour and a half for season 1.
We might not have time because when does the Demon Slayer movie come out?
Like July. And that's in Japan.
Oh. Oops. Never mind.
We can wait till the rest of the world formulate opinions and then throw in our opinions on the pile.
And that's why I said we can always do it as a bonus episode, which is not in the same format. It's similar to the one we keep teasing where Marlon and I need to watch Batman Ninja and Batman Ninja versus the Yakuza League.
No motivation to watch it, but we'll make it happen.
You just need to do a movie night or something, because I think you need to actually rent those.
Guys surprised me, so maybe those will too. I don't know. I can't be too harsh on them, but I'm not keen on the idea already.
But yeah, so we will be back in June with some Gundam Requiem for Vengeance, a show that I have heard zero things about, so therefore it's probably pretty bland. And then for July, we'll probably do Lazarus, since that will be over at that point.
All right, checking